My kids were roughhousing and one of them got hurt, obviously. Jim was with the kiddo that got hurt and the other one came to find me. And she said, Mom, I didn't mean to knock my sister over, but she got hurt and I feel weird. And I said, what do you mean by weird? And she said, I don't know, bad. I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident, but I don't know why I feel like this. I don't know what to do. And I said, well, I think it makes sense that you feel that way because you love her and you did hurt her, even if it was an accident. Did you say you were sorry? And she said, I don't know. I didn't mean to. And I said, I hear you, but people don't apologize when they meant to hurt someone. If I accidentally stepped on your toe, would it make you feel better if I said I didn't mean to do that, or I'm sorry that I did? I said, apologizing doesn't mean that you're bad or did it on purpose. It just shows that you care. And I think you might feel better if you help her feel better by comforting her and apologizing. So she did, and it worked. They both felt better. Also, the kid who got hurt wasn't seriously injured, but she did fall on some Legos, and that sucks. Okay, bye. Okay, wait, that was only 51 seconds. Want to see some of my Rent stuff? These are my last remaining physical copies of Rent. I used to have more, and I do own it digitally a few places. I even recorded it on VHS tape off my DVR back in like 2007. I have Anthony Rapp's memoir, Without You. I have Boho Days, which details Jonathan Larson's work before Rent, and this is really cool. This is actually, okay, this is signed. This is certified signed by Anthony Rapp, and it is the movie script from the 2005 film for Rent. Okay, so cool. And then I have some piano books, obviously, because I play piano. I'm gonna play Rent. And then I have, okay, this was a little disappointing because I thought it was gonna be like real signatures, but it's a photocopy, but it's still cool, but like, love that. And then obviously, like, I have the Rent book, like Jonathan Larson Rent book. And did you know that the movie soundtrack was produced by Rob Cavallo, the same person who produced the Black Parade and American Idiot? Like, that's so cool. Okay, bye.
People often ask me what I view as some practical solutions for our times, and I want to remind y'all that every year, for the past 8 years now, I have been doing what I call the Infinity Garden. Based on the idea of the Victory Gardens from World War II, I decided to change the name a little bit, and also the way that I do it is I grow in 5-gallon buckets and repurposed other containers that I find in my travels. Using this method, I have been able to produce essentially 70-80% of my own fresh vegetables for pretty much the entire growing season. I'd say it starts producing enough around beginning, middle of June, and until October, November, I have at least kale going. This is not just for my benefit, but also for political practice, for a way to resist the systems that exist, because we have to replace them with our own in order for us to have any chance. And remember that for every one soldier, you'll need 100 gardeners, because food is the foundation of everything. Keep in mind that I'm doing all this in a little piece of a New York City backyard, so you can definitely do some version of this wherever you are. Resistance is fertile, and we fight from the ground up.
We are all desensitized, and I'll tell you why we are all desensitized. We are so used to only seeing black and brown people's pain, their trauma, their deaths in the media, particularly outside of the Western world. And it's to the point where we don't even feel shocked anymore about hearing and seeing the most horrific things. So let's try and put ourselves in the shoes of people in Palestine right now. People that are having their periods, people that are pregnant. 1 to 2 weeks before I start my period, I experience terrible depression and anxiety. Now, if you are someone that has periods, you know what it's like. You know what it feels like to not want to do anything, to want to stay in bed. It affects a lot of people's mental health. Now imagine that leading up to your period, instead of you being in your warm bed, you are living out of a tent. You are unable to sleep at night because of the bombs and trauma that you have experienced. Your mental health is likely the worst that it's ever been, on top of the emotional toll of your period. And this is before your period has even come. Now imagine that when your period arrives, you have no access to tampons or pads, basic sanitary products that we use without even a second thought. So instead you have to use tent scraps. All the while, people you know are getting deadly infections from not having proper sanitary products. Young children are taking birth control medication to stop their periods from coming. Now imagine this all the while having debilitating pain from your period. You have not seen many of your friends and family members for over 100 days. You don't even know if they are alive. Now imagine that you are pregnant during this time. Miscarriages have gone up by over 300% in the last few months. You are not only afraid of losing your child if you have not already by miscarriage, but you are terrified of what it would mean to have a child during this time with no functioning hospitals. And if you and your child were to live through the childbirth, at any moment you could be bombed or shot or die from hunger, thirst, or freeze to death. death. It is easy to be desensitized when imagining this because we are imagining the unimaginable. There is nothing normal about what is happening right now, and we must remember that. We cannot normalize this. We will not normalize this.
I can't live like this anymore. Nobody cares about you unless you're dead or dying.
When I was 21, I sustained a back injury that left me paralyzed with pain. The slightest movement would send excruciating pain down my back, through my buttocks, and all the way down to my leg. I wasn't able to put any weight on this leg. I literally had to be carried from my bed to the toilet, and I needed assistance in the toilet at the age of 21. And of course, like most Americans, I didn't have health insurance at the time, so I couldn't afford proper medical care. I went to the local family doctor, and he did an x-ray, and he's like, oh, well, you're young and healthy. This is probably just an inflamed muscle. You'll be all right in a few days. Fast forward 6 months, I'm still in this excruciating pain, unable to walk. My entire life shut down. I quit my job because I couldn't work. I dropped out of college because I couldn't attend classes, and I was isolated from all my friends because I literally couldn't go out. When we eventually realized that this was a serious medical condition that wasn't going to go away with rest, we collected money to pay for steroid injections to reduce the inflammation on my buttocks, where I felt most of the pain. And these injections were $500 a piece, and I needed 3 injections. Now I can walk, but I'm limping because I still have pain. So we decided to do physical therapy. Went to a physical therapist and found out that it was going to be $100 a session out of pocket. I was like, there's no fucking way I can afford this. She recommended me to go to a chiropractor, which was $25 a session. I was like, fine, we can afford this. I saw this man for an entire year. For an entire year, he kept doing these stretches on me, kept fixing my back, and every other week I would still be limping into his office. It took him a year to be like, hey, you know what? I can't fix you. You need to go see a surgeon. You need to see an orthopedic surgeon to find out what's going on. I think you might have a serious back condition. I go to an orthopedic surgeon. He tells me I need an MRI. I tell him, hey, I don't have insurance. How much is this going to cost me? He's like, oh, $1,200. I'm like, hey, I can't afford that. Can I go get an MRI from somewhere else? Can you write me a note? I'll go get an MRI and I'll bring it to you. He writes me a note. I pay $600 out of pocket to get an MRI. And finally, it's been 2 years at this point. 2 years after my injury, we finally find out that I have a herniated disc, which is putting pressure on my nerves. It's putting pressure on my spine, which is causing inflammation in my spine and causing inflammation through all the muscles throughout that nerve that runs down my right leg. So the surgeon tells me the only way to correct this problem is that I need to get a surgery done, which is called a microdiscectomy. Basically, they shave off a portion of the disc, which is putting pressure on my spinal cord. And this surgery costs close to $35,000 out of pocket. I tell him, hey, I don't have this money. What can I do? And he's like, well, you need to get insurance. And this is before Obamacare. So my only option was to get a job and work with excruciating back pain. And I'm like 23 at this time, almost 24. And the only jobs I can get without any work history or without a degree from a university is retail jobs. So I spent the next 6 months of my life standing, folding fucking clothes at Express and JCPenney so that I could get insurance so that I could pay for my surgery. Whilst I'm waiting to collect the money to afford my surgery, my doctor is prescribing me powerful painkillers. I'm talking Vicodin, oxycodone, Valium to help with my pain. These are highly addictive medications. They're made from heroin, basically, the same poppy plant. He was prescribing them to me like candy. I would run out. He wouldn't ask another question. I would go in for my weekly or monthly visit. He would just write me another prescription. He's prescribing a child Vicodin. And of course, I got addicted. I got addicted to these pills. I found myself popping these pills in moments where I didn't have the pain. I just took it because I had the fucking craving for it like a cigarette. When I finally, first of all, become eligible for my health insurance, because it doesn't kick in right away, after months of working and collecting money, not spending money on anything else, just literally just saving money for my surgery, I gather the $6,000 surgery copay that I need to get this surgery done. I get my surgery scheduled and I go to my boss and I tell her, hey, I need a month off of work because I'm getting a major back surgery done. She tells me the best I can do is 7 days, which is 5 days that I normally am scheduled to work, plus the 2 additional days off the week that I get. So the best she can do is 1 week. And I shit you not, 1 week after my surgery, I'm working at JCPenney and I'm bleeding through my shirt because I'm not supposed to be on my feet. I'm bleeding through my shirt and my manager goes, hey, there's some blood on your shirt. Go take care of that. And by this time, I'm 24 years old and I get my surgery done. And through that, thankfully, I regained my mobility, but the pain has never gone away. I still To this very day, I'm 36 years old. I have pain every single day. Every single day of my life for the past 15 years has been in pain. Fast forward 3 years, obviously I quit that job and I have a new job as a graphic designer for a much bigger company, and my injury is flaring up. I'm having trouble sitting at my desk, so I need to take some time off work. I wanted to apply for short-term disability. I went back to that surgeon, right? And I brought the form with me that my company was 100% okay with this. They're like, yeah, we can see you're hurting. Go get this form signed by your surgeon. I take this form to my surgeon and he looks at me and he's like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you're still having pain. We did the surgery. You should be completely fine. You're young. You're skinny. There's no way you're having this pain. And I was literally speechless. I was like, listen, my company has already approved this. All I need is for you to fill out this paperwork that says I have a serious medical condition. I don't need anything else from you. As soon as he gave me the paper with his signature, I stormed to the front office and I told them to give me every single medical record they have of me, and I never fucking want to see this doctor ever again in my life. I've spent half my fucking life in pain. You don't know what that does to a person. Like, I want to go out, I want to explore the fucking world. I want to see everything that there is to offer. And some days I wake up, I can't fucking walk. And why do I have to live my life like this? It's the worst feeling to try to explain to somebody how much pain you're in and they completely fucking dismiss you. 15 years, bro. You don't know what that's like. I was a child. I was a baby. My entire life has been ruined because I fucking had the misfortune of being in this fucking country that doesn't give a shit about its fucking citizens. Even as I'm sitting in my car right now talking to you guys, I'm in pain. And I've accepted I'm never going to wake up and jump out of bed and be totally okay and be ready to seize the day and be excited for what the day brings, because I'm always going to have this pain. If we had universal health care like most developed nations of this world, I would not have to live my life like this. From the moment I experienced the first sting of pain, I could have gone straight to the doctor and be like, hey, there's something wrong. We could have done the test. We could have done all of the tests that I needed. If I had the proper care when I first sustained this injury, I would have never needed surgery. I would have gone straight into physical therapy. They would have helped me manage my pain, and I would never ever be in this position. My entire life was ruined at the age of 21 because of the fucking healthcare system in this country, and my story is not unique. I'm not unique. This happens to millions of people every fucking day, every year, and our masters don't give a fuck. The healthcare system in this country is made for profit. It is not about caring about the health of the citizens. It's about squeezing every drop of money, every dime that a person has.
Salam, this is a quick Palestine vocab lesson from a fellow Palestinian, so please watch and educate yourself and share with others. First, we do not call the occupier Israel. We refer to it correctly as the settler colony of Israel, or the Zionist occupation. This more accurately labels Israel as the occupying power that it actually is. Furthermore, we do not refer to what is happening in Gaza as a war or conflict. For it to be a war, that would mean that two armies are fighting, but clearly what we see is an occupier and an occupied. What we're watching is not a conflict, it's a genocide. There are the oppressors and the oppressed. To refer to the larger Zionist plan in Palestine, we do not say the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We say Zionist colonization of Palestine, Zionist colonial rule of Palestine, or Israeli settler colonialism, but again, this is not a conflict. Last, but definitely not least, we do not say IDF or Israeli Defense Forces, because the Zionist occupation army has nothing to defend against. It is the occupier. Therefore, by definition, it is always on the offensive. And as we've seen from their most recent genocidal pursuit in Gaza, it would be very inaccurate to refer to them as the Israeli Defense Forces. So Palestinians more accurately label them as the Israeli Occupation Forces, or just IOF for short. Language is very powerful, and how we describe or explain something can make the biggest difference. You can learn even more about Palestine by accessing free resources on the Palestine Diaspora website or Instagram page. They have incredible resources for you for free. Lastly, but most importantly, make dua for the people of Palestine. May Allah protect them, accept their martyrs, and increase them in strength, Ya Rab.
Honest question, genuine question. Why don't leftists care about masking? Why aren't supposed radical, socially conscious people, why aren't they masking? Like, we're in a full-on pandemic raging, disabling hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions. We care about liberation, but not for the disabled. I genuinely do not understand the dissonance. We claim to care about communal safety, but like not about community when it comes to a virus that's spreading and acts like HIV in a lot of ways. COVID, it's a damaging virus. It's truly a damaging virus. And the denial and the passivity of leftist people in masking, I can't grasp it, man. Our government has lied to us about everything, but they haven't withheld things about COVID. Like COVID's the thing that we can trust them on. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. I just don't get it.